So, good evening, everyone, all the lovely human beings who have joined us here. After our last week's webinar on building family resilience with Dr. Robert Ruthon, here we are back with another topic, which is power of inner grooming. And I'm sure you all are enjoying these webinars and the learning out of it. And this is something which is basically a part of our Let's Hear It from the Expert series. So I hope from this webinar also you're going to gain a lot, you're going to learn a lot. And definitely you will all be allowed later on to ask your questions if you have any. So do not worry about it. First, some questions that have come to us is what I'm going to ask Mrs. Neha. And then later on, I'll be opening the entire chat box or the videos for everyone to ask the questions. Yeah. So I'm Miss Nikunja Gujar. I'm a founder, psychologist, director of Emoticons India, and this is an organization which works in the field of mental health. It is a psychological counseling, testing, training, and a research center. So I'm not going to delay any further. I'm definitely going to introduce you to our today's guest, right? I'm sure you all are very excited to hear from her. In fact, I'm more excited, not just because I'm hosting this event, but also because Neha is my very dear friend and we did our masters in psychology together. So this is a wonderful opportunity for me to just have her on our board for this webinar. Yeah, so today's topic is the power of inner grooming. And Neha, everyone is excited to hear that from you. So giving a very brief introduction about you, because I'm sure the introduction can go on if I really start off, but just to give a bit of information about you and what you have done to everybody. So Neha has completed her master's in clinical psychology, and she has hosted, anchored, and campaigning for so many shows, so many webinars, so many, I would say, Filmfare awards and everything. She is the inner and outer grooming coach, and of course, a true deserver of the crown, Mrs. India Worldwide in 2017. So Neha, over to you. Please give a little more elaboration on this topic. How are you looking forward to address this topic?
Great. Well, hi, Nikunja.
Hi.
So that was a very lovely introduction. And why is this webinar so special is, as you rightly mentioned, you are a great friend and we've been planning to do something together since a very long time. Definitely. And see, in this lockdown, things just worked. So, you know, along with some bad things, there are very good things also happening to all of us.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think you've covered everything from my introduction and there's nothing more left to say. So I think we should directly delve into the topic and whatever questions are there, I'm raring to go and ready to answer.
Lovely. And I'm sure the audience is also looking forward for you to spread more light on this topic. Yeah. So let's start with understanding the real elegance, what it means. And Neha, to begin with, I would like to ask you that what is grooming and what is this inner grooming all about? How does one understand this concept of grooming?
Okay. So basically for me, I have done my master's in clinical psychology and I've also been very interested in doing makeup and hair and, you know, the outer part as well as the inner part. So when I got into training, I realized that along with the outer grooming, inner grooming is equally or even more so important.
Okay.
So the grooming that I conduct, it consists of two parts, outer grooming as well as inner grooming. So imagine the grooming process to be an orchestra. In an orchestra, we have musicians, we have instruments playing, we have so many elements that comprise the orchestra. The same way it's in grooming. We have right from beauty, makeup, hair, how you look, your fitness, how you carry yourself, styling, voice modulation. We also have things like meditations, visualizations, affirmations, which comprise of the inner grooming part. Plus, there are these three things which go together, the mind, body, and the soul. So for the body, we all know what grooming means. It's all about your personality development. It's all about communication and everything. Inner grooming is all about being your best self from the inside. That means keeping your happiness in mind, being an extremely confident personality, trying to be positive in all the worst situations, etc. And the third part is the soul. So the soul cleansing part involves letting go of the negativities of the past, letting go of the baggage of the past, and also trying to visualize all the things that you want in your life and trying to achieve them. So my grooming, the grooming sessions that I conduct, they comprise of all these three elements together.
That's lovely. That's really nice. So Neha, I would like to ask you that there is a lot of talk in the world outside there about image consultancy. And right now, what you were saying, even I could recall that. So is there any difference between image consultancy and grooming? Would you like to share something on that front?
Oh yeah, so actually grooming and image consultancy or personality development, they all go hand in hand. They're all a part of the same umbrella term. But just the fact is that image consultants who are working in the market have some degree. They have a certification. When it concerns inner grooming, there are a lot of people who are psychologists or who have done courses related to your psychology. Or stuff like REBT, NLP, things that you teach at emoticons. Yes. So doing all of that, it really helps in grooming somebody's inner personality. So inner grooming comprises of the psychological part, which I feel is the only difference between the two. Otherwise, it's all pretty much the same.
So you mean to say that when it comes to inner grooming, person does not necessarily have to have any certification done, but they can learn it.
And the best teacher is your own experience.
Absolutely.
Which I have experienced. So whenever I train my students, it's more about talking about my experiences. That's where they learn the maximum from. So I don't go on preaching about things. Yeah, I talk to them about real things that have happened in life. We talk about other people's examples, and that's how is the best thing, how we can move ahead and learn.
Right, definitely. And that just makes me say that this inner grooming as an aspect, it's not something which is inbuilt. It's not something which you're born with. Right? So it's more like a process. It's like a skill that everyone can develop. There is no criteria as such. Yeah. So how can one start a process of inner grooming? How can one start this entire journey of inner grooming?
Okay. To start with the journey, let me quote a quote by Buddha, who said that what you think you become, what you feel you attract, and what you imagine you create. Lovely. So when you start imagining good things, you automatically start working towards them and you start creating them. So for my own process of inner grooming, I was not aware of this term at all.
Okay.
It all started with liking the outer components like makeup and dressing up well and fitness and all of that. And during my Mrs. India journey, I realized that along with looking beautiful on the outside, it's extremely important how you carry yourself, how your thoughts are, how confident you are as a personality, and that's where the inner grooming part comes in. So going through the whole process of Mrs. India, I realized that these two are two components which cannot be separated. They are like family members who have to stay in the same family. So why not start a course wherein I teach the ladies about ramp walking, about the question and answers, about looking good on the outside, as well as I take their counseling. I also talk to them about their daily problems, because we all as women or as men, everybody goes through their own struggles in life, right?
True, definitely.
So to go to another point in life, you have to first get rid of all the baggage that you're carrying, because then it becomes extremely tough to carry that whole load and move ahead in life.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
With this inner grooming process, what I try to do is cleanse their mind, cleanse their soul, start like on a huge new canvas, and we start beginning from there. Then we get into a lot of meditations, we get into a lot of visualization exercises. I actually make them believe that they are on the stage. It's a multi-sensory experience wherein they're smelling the air, they're breathing in the whole atmosphere, they're looking at the crowd, they're hearing them clap for them.
With all the
senses.
All
of that, so a multi-sensory feel is what they get. So all of these small little things, that's what comprises of the inner grooming part.
Perfect. And I'm sure that's an additional thing, because when I've heard these image consultancy or even grooming so far in my experience, people just talk about how to dress up, how to make up, how to do your hair. But what I feel is inner grooming becomes an important part, because that's one thing you cannot Photoshop. Yeah,
absolutely.
You can still Photoshop the outer beauty, but you cannot really Photoshop the inner beauty. So lovely. And Neha, please let us know how you think, in your opinion, this inner grooming affects the outer grooming.
So more than affecting the outer grooming, I feel that inner grooming is like the most necessary part before even you start the outer grooming.
Okay.
So, if you imagine yourself to be a canvas or a slate which is blank, so you start by putting in things which are positive, which are going to help you grow to the next level.
Yeah.
And for that, another quote is that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is now. So we need to start at this moment. And what do? So see, outer grooming, we can go to a parlor, we can go to a gym, and all those things are, tackled, and you can look beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the years and years of, negative self-talk that you've put yourself through? Mm-hmm. What about the years and years of people telling you that you're not good enough? How do you get rid of that? True. That's why I feel that inner grooming is much more important than outer grooming. Yeah. And they go hand in hand, actually, because if you look good, if you feel good from the inside, you look good on the outside.
Yeah, it's more like they complement each other is what I see here then.
Yes, totally.
Definitely, because the way you are conversing with yourself affects a lot, right? So we are not necessarily every time very kind with our own self as much as we are kind with others.
Yes,
so that's one important component, I feel. That's lovely. And this grooming, this term in itself is something which people feel is very restricted to this celebrity world or this Bollywood and the beauty world. But I feel it's something which even people need in their day-to-day life. It's not something you have to be in a particular profession to groom yourself. Isn't
yes,
it?
Totally.
So, what do you think? How can this grooming help an individual to grow in his life also at the personal level or at the family level or even at the community level for that matter?
Great. So this is a very good question. Now, all of you who are listening to this webinar, who are watching us, tell me truthfully, how many of you like to look good? I think sure everybody likes to, yeah, everyone likes to look good, right? So, it's like feeling good. And the feel good factor is what we're looking at. Sometimes I say that when you're sad and when you're low and you put on some makeup or, you get automatically good side and the other. So grooming as a term is very, very important in that sense that once you feel good, your day starts going really well. You're motivated to get out of that bed, do something with your life. And, you want to work out to look good. Fitness, what you put in your system, food, how are you, dressing up, your fashion. These are all the terms that I was talking about. They all comprise of grooming. How you talk to people. The way, are you a good listener or you're the person who only keeps talking and not let the other person talk?
Okay.
How do people like to be in touch with you? Do they feel motivated by you, by your presence? Or are you somebody who people want to ignore? All these things are a part of grooming. It's how you carry yourself. When you walk into a room, do turn and people remember, she's the one or he's the one.
Right.
So we all need to give ourselves that chance to get groomed and be the best version of ourselves. That is what grooming is all about. I'm not saying we need to look like a Hrithik Roshan or we need to look like an Aishwarya Rai Bachchan. No, we're all good enough for ourselves. We have to be the best version of what we can be.
Right. I think everyone needs to just remind themselves that you are you and that is enough.
And that, you are very special. True.
Yeah. Right. So are there any, let's say, parameters which one needs to understand when it comes to focusing on their inner grooming? Like if somebody says that I want to start my journey of inner grooming, then these are the points that I need to really work on. So I'm sure everyone understands very easily about outer grooming, but nobody really talks so intensively about inner grooming. And especially if this comes from somebody who has a knowledge of psychology that really goes through and that really goes in depth of it. So could you just share some of the parameters that inner grooming comprises of?
Sure. So let me give you an example. When I go through a bad patch or there are these turbulent times, I always remind, if you see this, can you see this small little symbol here?
Yes,
you know what that means?
You have to let everybody know, even if one person knows, I'm sure many of them don't. Or I don't actually, so please tell me.
So this is a reminder which says that we can either let the turbulent tides of our life push us forward or let us drown in them.
Wow.
And especially in this lockdown period wherein we are going through these crazy mood swings. There's one day when you're feeling on top of the world, second minute when you're feeling so sad and depressed and you're like wondering, is the world going to end? Right? We're all going through all of these times.
Right.
So why not make use of these tides and help them push us forward and try to do the best with our time right now and there are so many things to do. Coming back to your question, what, are the elements of inner grooming? One of the most important thing which I teach in my classes is that there is a switch in our brain, right? It's a switch, how there's an electrical switch. We put on and the light turns on, and there's an off and the lights go off.
Okay.
We all have this little switch in our mind.
Okay.
If we want to feel good and we put it on, we start feeling good. If we want to feel bad and we, get into those memories and we start feeling bad. So I call it the switch. So whenever my students come for the class, I tell them, leave all your 100 kgs of baggage outside the door.
Yes.
Welcome to the class. And now let's put on the switch so that we are in the best mood. We are in our best element. We are like a sponge ready to absorb everything what we can learn right now.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is the first thing which I tell them, is to be very receptive of the things that are coming our way.
Yeah. So by receptive, you mean receptive to learn. Is that what I understand?
Receptive to learn,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Be like a sponge who's ready to absorb. There's so much to learn from everything around us.
True.
And after doing psychology, remember we studied about Viktor Frankl?
Yes.
He says that everything can be snatched from a person, but the freedom to feel happy or the freedom to feel content, nobody can snatch that freedom away from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, everything was taken away from him, but still he chose to be happy, and he lived up to a good, I think, 90 plus years, right?
Yes.
So that freedom is our own. So let any circumstance bog us down, but we can still choose to be happy. That's another thing which I tell them.
Right.
Then what I believe in is the law. Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. There's another element of the law of attraction. We have spoken about this before. If we keep visualizing it, if we keep seeing it, there are these signs which we constantly keep seeing, like the 11:11 on the watch. Or then, you are looking at something, you think of something, and probably that person calls you that day.
Right.
So this is what I mean by being receptive. You open your channels, you open your signals, and things start coming to you.
Okay. So that just gives me another thought right now, which is, it's all about the way you carry your own thoughts and the way you maintain the quality of your own thoughts. Because it's like one person might just look at something which is coming as a criticism, or rather any comment as a criticism, while another person can choose to look at it as a constructive criticism. And that's where we are probably trying to say that you need to be receptive enough in order to absorb everything that is coming in, and then select the thoughts that are helpful to yourself.
Absolutely. It's like filtering. It's like a sieve.
Sure.
You can actually contain what you want and let go of everything negative that you actually don't want in your life, which becomes a baggage eventually.
Yeah, and I'm sure
this
is not a one-day thing, right, Neha?
No,
this is not a one-day or one-night thing. It's a process.
Not at all. It's a process, right? And I think the more difficult times you go through, the more those become the base or the foundation on which you start building your life. If somebody gets everything on a platter, it really doesn't help them move ahead in life, because everything is coming so easy. But these turbulent times, these difficult times, what they teach you, nothing else can teach you.
Right. Definitely.
So I think these are all the small aspects about inner grooming, what you asked.
Right. And I'm sure that extensively you must be also covering them in your courses.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you think, like I keep talking this in my trainings, but in your opinion, I would like to know, how do you think a psychology as a subject helps an individual to know himself better, and further that assists, or let's say aids into his inner grooming or inner beauty?
Well, I think psychology has actually been the base of everything that I've learned about inner grooming, because what is psychology? It encompasses the study of your mind, your actions, your behavior. So everything related to yourself.
Yeah.
And we also learned about different theories of psychologists, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about absorbing a little from everybody, then making up your own little world. Well, because you know your personality, right? You know what are the good things, your strong points, you know what are your weak points. So what I did was, wherever I fell short, I took a little from each of these psychologists or motivational speakers, or anything and everything that I could actually lay my hands on. I have been super motivated by you as well, and you know that.
Oh my God.
You were one person who used to, be so hardworking, full of concentration. And when we used to study together, you used to really motivate me. So there are so many of these people who have actually helped me if I was falling a few inches short in that, yardstick, then these people have helped me actually complete it.
Right.
So that's how psychology has actually helped me. I'm like extremely open to learning from everybody.
Right.
And I keep my channels open because I want to learn. Everybody has so many great things in them.
Absolutely.
So it's again about absorbing whatever you can, and that's how the inner grooming process. And this began a long time ago. Actually, I didn't realize what it was called back then, because I used to always love reading about motivational speakers. I used to love listening to different lectures, and something or the other stays in your mind,
Yeah, yeah.
And at the right time, you remember those things.
Right. Definitely. So, how psychology has helped you specifically in this journey of you becoming Mrs. India worldwide?
Okay. So talking a little about my journey, I don't want to bore people too much, but
no, in fact, I'm sure everyone wants to know that, Neha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so the journey began about 2017 beginning, wherein I enrolled for Mrs. India. There were about 8 to 10,000 contestants all over India, and a few Indians who were living abroad as well. And they shortlisted us down. And from those shortlisted contestants, they selected the final 55 who were flown to Vietnam for the training and grooming.
Wow.
So before that, actually, before getting selected, I had a lot of weight to lose. So I had about psychology came in.
Neha, we lost you in between. Could you just repeat that? We couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So as I was telling you that I had piled on 15 kgs, so I had to lose those extra 15 kgs because I realized that if I go like this on stage, I'm not going to look good, nor are they going to accept me. Okay. So it all started from the outer grooming, but their psychology had to come in because I had to actually psych my mind and tell myself that if 15 kgs can be put on, 15 kgs can also be lost. 15 kgs were not put on in a day. So I'm not going to lose that weight in a month or two. It's a long journey, which I have to go on right now. So that's, it started by psyching my mind and telling myself that, yes, I'm going to do it. So I started with my workouts. Then I realized that I need to be well-spoken because the final 2 rounds are the question and answer round. That if you cannot speak well, then the crown just goes. Right. So then I started reading a lot. I started listening to a lot of lectures. So whenever my eyes used to get tired, I used to put on my headphones. If I used to go for a jog, I used to listen to different people about what they think, about their experiences, about what they have been through and how they've overcome those things.
Okay.
Psychology too. It came in there as well.
Right.
Then during the journey, I realized that 55 married ladies under the same roof. Can you imagine how crazy it must have been?
Because everyone there is working on their outer grooming. Everyone there is like all the beautiful ladies under the one roof. But I'm more interested in just understanding and probably seeing whether this entire psychology was like a, standing point for you to stand.
It was. Yeah. So during the journey, what happened was when I went in for the first time and I saw so many ladies, I was taken aback because everybody's super confident. Everybody's like, just like a winner. And then I'm like, what am I doing here? So I used to literally do a self-talk to myself, and everything what we had learned used to actually flash in front of my eyes because there are so many things that we learned in our masters which actually came in handy during the 7 days where I stayed there. Okay. And the final part was before my pageant, I got 102 fever.
Okay.
And my aunt, who's a doctor, she prescribed some medicines, and the antibiotics also failed. These were the antibiotics which I've been taking all my life, and I used to get well in a day or two. But nothing was working at that time. My body was super tired because we used to practice like the whole day and almost half the night. So then that night, the next day was my pageant, the final pageant. So when I slept, I realized that the medicines are not working, the only thing that is going to help me is the mind now. That was my last go-to option. So I literally spoke to myself for half an hour to 45 minutes. I reminded myself of all those 8 months that I've, blood, sweat, tears, you name it, and I had put it in. So I said, if I've done so much, I cannot let one small fever, one viral, affect this whole dream and just, sabotage it.
Yeah.
So psychology has actually been the crutch that helped me breeze through the next day. And trust me, Nikunja, I slept with the fever. And the next morning I woke up, I was absolutely fine.
Oh my
So
God.
I've experienced it.
Right. And I'm sure this experience is something which you will carry for the rest of your life with you because
Totally. So after that, whenever I'm going through
wow.
any bad period or any bad patch or whatever, I just realize that I have a, you know, a super great pill which is right here. I don't need to rely too much on medicines, because what this can do, nothing else can
Right.
do. And that psychology came in.
That's the most important organ of our body, isn't it? The mind.
Totally. I agree to it. And I've experienced it. And, you know, I think we all have at some point or the other. We just need to recognize how important it is and how it can really help us.
Yeah, true.
And because you asked this question, it is relevant. Last year, I had a tumor removed. I was in the ICU for 3-4 days, and it was a really bad time. But the
Yeah.
funny part about this is that if it was a earlier me, I would have cried my heart, my lungs, my liver, everything out. But after being through this journey, when I got my diagnosis, I was calm like a rock. I was like, okay, fine. If this is what it is, I'll go through it in the best way possible. So I
Oh,
decided to be the best patient. I said, let the doctor say that, you know, this girl is the best patient. I
okay.
was super cool through the whole surgery, through the recovery process. Of course, my family members
Sure.
stood by me, like friends were there. But again, this thing is something which is under our control, right? So I
Right.
used to travel to a lot of places in the ICU. I traveled to Nice, I traveled to Italy, I traveled to a lot of different places because it was my mind, it was my free will. I could do whatever I wanted. What
Mm-hmm.
happened if I had some 20 odd tubes on my body? My
Yeah.
mind was free to travel.
Yeah.
So it was like a very, very easy breezy process. And yeah, so
Right.
again, the mind is really great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have this very interesting question, which I'm sure a lot of them are going to be waiting to hear from you. Is do you have some quick tips for the audience, for all the ones who are attending this webinar right now? Like, what is it that they can do to work on themselves, especially during this pandemic time? Everyone is trying to introspect more, and I think that's the very first step that
Yeah,
everyone needs
yeah,
to do. So, could you please give some tips, quick tips that everyone can actually adapt?
sure. So right now, because this is a lockdown and we have all the time on our hands, most of the people that I see have been learning something. They've been, you know, attending a lot of courses, a lot of webinars, and getting to learn something or the other from that. Other people I know have been cooking. So we have a lot of master chefs in the house.
Yes.
A few others that I know have been working out and really, you know, building their physique and losing that excess pounds and trying to be like super fit.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the people that I know, like that's a very few now, like few of them, they've been extremely anxious, they've been depressed, and they've been wondering if the world is going to come to an end after this pandemic, and are all of us going to be affected by coronavirus, and what's the future? Now, see,
Yeah.
Nikunja, that's not in our hands. We don't know what's going to happen.
True.
There's one thing that it might just disappear. We all might get affected with it and we might come out of it. You never know what's going to happen. So why don't we just put that part up, you know, aside and lock it out and throw it in the well? Because we don't know the future, what's going to happen. What we have right now is all the time in our hands, and we can actually really make good use of it.
Yeah.
So, and the stress that is coming is not the way because our life is. It's actually how we are responding to it.
Absolutely.
Why are we letting these circumstances bog us down? What
Yeah.
we could do is, if we have say 2-3 hours free time, because a lot of us have been doing the housework, the maids have not been coming, so you know there's a lot of things that everybody has been doing, but I'm sure we can all take out 2 to 3 hours of the day for ourselves. So if you divide that time, you can actually give about 45 minutes to your physical fitness, because that actually makes you feel so good for the rest of the day. You don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
The feel good hormones are activated just by sweating it out.
Mm-hmm.
Some time of the day you can give into your self development. Try to read a book, or try to listen to some good TED talks, or try to listen to some lectures from which you can learn. That you can also do by putting your headphones on, by doing any housework. You can do that 45 minutes to 1 hour. It's not too much of your time.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the time, half an hour at least, you can take out for meditating. I'm not saying that, you know, you have to think about something. Just close your eyes, sit quietly, and let the thoughts flow in. Sometimes by letting the thoughts flow in, they go out of your mind.
Right. Yeah.
So give yourself these, I think, 2 to 3 hours, and these 3-4 things are extremely important for our inner grooming. Now, for outer grooming, we have the time, we have the lovely clothes which are lying in our closet. So we can actually get ready, do a photo shoot at home if you have the time and you have the will and the energy. Try to, do a small little course. If you're some girl who is wanting to learn about makeup, you can actually join these different courses, learn about makeup, practice the makeup on yourself because you have the time. If you want to do a nutrition course, you can do that course as well.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that whatever time we have, put it to use constructively.
Yeah, I think that,
So that
last part, what you said, use it constructively, that's really very important. And what I would like to also add here is a constant reminder to ourselves that we can only change few things. We cannot change everything, and things that we cannot change, we really cannot ponder more on it and just make ourselves feel more anxious or sad or depressed. Because I see even too many of people around are right now seeking counseling sessions with us, and we see that a lot of them are just trying to control these things which we cannot control, unfortunately. I know it's too difficult to attain. However, a constant reminder that I can only change what I can change, and I cannot possibly invest and waste my energy into something I cannot change, right?
True.
That's something which could be also very important.
Yeah, and Emoticons is taking so many lovely courses. And Nikunja, can you just quickly tell us what all are the courses that you're taking right now, and how can we make good use of that?
That's like a reverse question to me.
Yes, a reverse question. Yes.
But my questions are not yet over. Maybe I will throw that answer. I'll definitely give that answer maybe at the end, because some of the questions I can see in the chat box too. However, I have another question which is more like, do you have any secret mantra for your outer grooming and inner grooming? Because we see you always being very positive, very energetic, very confident. And I'm sure you just mentioned to us that you yourself have gone through downs of life. It's not that your life has been always into ups, right? So what keeps you always, I'm sure you showed us that sign, that tattoo or whatever that was to us, and gave us a little hint of how it helps you to boost yourself all the time. But is there any other secret mantra that you follow which keeps you so motivated and so groomed every time?
Oh wow, that's like a compliment wrapped up, and you've just presented it to me. Well, Nikunja, thank you so much for that. And yeah, talking about this I just made it with a pen, because whenever I feel low, I do this, and that kind of, whenever I feel low, I look at it and I'm like, okay, this, I either let it drown me, or then I let it push me forward.
That's like a reminder to you, is it?
That's a reminder, yeah. That's why I wanted to show it to the audience, so then I just made it here. And there is no secret mantra actually. One very important thing is that my mom, who is an extremely positive person, and she's like that, motivation injection, which kind of keeps me really going. She's so full of positivity, and she always knows that, the sun rays are right there. We just have to know where to look.
Yeah.
So one of the factors is that she's around. So, I just pick up the phone, and whenever I'm feeling low, she's always there to motivate. And the other thing is that I don't let circumstances get the best of me. That's one thing which I decided after my Mrs. India. I'm like, whatever it is, the life is not a bed of roses any which ways. If there's a super high, there is going to be a super low. Yeah. So whenever I get a super low, I know that, life is going to go up. And whenever I'm seeing the highs, I just realize that this is not the be all and end all of it. I need to keep myself grounded, because there might be a time wherein I might fall into a pit, So I just have to be normal.
Yes.
So there's no mantra as such.
You indirectly gave us a mantra though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and what I feel is this entire world, even if as much as time everyone is spending on grooming themselves externally, even if half of the time, if people start spending on focusing on their inner self, focusing on their inner beauty, don't you think though this world will be a wonderful place to live at? Because
totally.
Everyone wants to say, everyone wants to see beautiful, everyone wants to look beautiful, but they forget the fact that the actual validation of your beauty is going to come from within. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, definitely. I guess there are a few questions also which are there on the chat box. I'm going to just read out. Can you see them too? I'm just going to read out some of the questions.
Yeah.
So somebody says that, from where did you do your masters? Which university?
Fergusson College, Pune.
Right. So we are ex-Fergusonians people.
Yeah.
And It's a wonderful college to do your psychology from in India, of course.
Proud ex-Fergusonians.
Yes. Okay. And how do we polish our qualities and how do we refine ourselves? I'm sure a lot of them, and I know why this question is also coming because, in my experience also, Neha, not everyone has that social support the way probably you and me have.
Yeah.
Not everyone really has those inspiring people around them who keep injecting that motivation in them. And
Yes.
sometimes, unfortunately and sadly, they find themselves being completely alone in this entire journey of wanting to be staying motivated or wanting to stay motivated. So
Yeah.
at that moment, when the social support is lacking, what are those things which people can actually adapt? Is there any other tip? I'm sure you covered them and you did mention this last time also, but is there anything which you would like to just sum up and give in 1 or 2 lines to people?
Yeah, so the first thing what I would like to tell people is that stop expecting from any person other than yourself. Because the moment we start expecting from the people around us, that's when our downfall starts.
Yeah.
So if I have a person who's motivating me, I have 10 others who are, constantly telling me how bad I am or how, I don't look good or, how I'm overweight or etc. etc. There are so many things. If you want to criticize somebody, there are so many things that you can go on and on.
Right.
But I chose to be deaf for those people. And whoever I find who is motivating me, I try to be as receptive as possible, as I had mentioned. And the best thing that I do is I stopped expecting from any other person than myself. I don't expect anything from anyone. So whatever somebody is saying nice to me, it's like a bonus and I feel good about it.
Right.
And just turn a deaf ear to these people. And for all those people who don't have a, good social support or good friends around them, what I will tell them is rely on books.
Right.
There's nothing greater than that. And I think I'm just seeing a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any books that you would like to recommend people?
So I read, Inner Engineering by Sadhguru. I love to listen to him and I love to read his books because what he talks is something that I, really connect to. And other than that, there are a lot of books. If I see the word motivation or if I see the word personality development, I just lay my hands on that book and I read it.
Okay.
So if they want a list, then I can actually put it on the Instagram post that, we have.
Sure.
So I can actually give a list of 10, 12 books that I actually swear by and I'll give them a written list.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would be really
there are so many books that are coming to my mind. So I'll just actually write them down and I'll put it on the channel.
Yeah, that will be nice. And there are even if some TED Talks, because that's also another question.
Yeah, totally.
You could just share the links of that.
I will share the links of the TED Talks as well.
Right.
Because I keep listening to them a lot.
That's right, exactly, because you mentioned that as one of the tips during the lockdown that people could do. Definitely. So we would like to have some tips on that front too.
Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the links and the books also on the Emoticons page.
Sure, definitely. We will share it on the social media platforms also. Okay. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this entire. If anyone wants to ask a live question, you may ask it. You may not want to chat, you want to just ask and turn your video on and I'll unmute you. So you can ask live to her. We can have this going for another 10 minutes. And then, so anybody here who would like to ask questions to Neha? I can unmute people. Is there anyone who would like to ask questions?
I don't know.
Okay. Is there anyone who would want to ask some questions personally to Neha on a video?
हाँ सही थी हम भी सोच ही रहे थे बस एकदम भूल ही गई हैं
I can hear someone talking. I'm not sure if that's a question coming though.
There's a lot of disturbance and I can't.
Right.
Kunja, can you hear me?
Yes. I think there is a little disturbance because I have unmute everybody. But one question has Yeah, okay. So someone is saying that I can ask a question. Yeah, okay. There is one question which Miss Malvika has asked, and she's asking me to ask you this. And I have been getting private questions, by the way. So let me just ask that to you. What I meant private is privately. Okay. So yeah, it's like they say outer beauty captivates the eyes and the inner beauty captivates the heart. That's true. What is it that one important inner trait that captivates the eyes too, and that we need?
And that
we need to have, basically.
Can you just repeat the last part of the question?
What is that inner trait that captivates the eyes too, and we need to have it?
Okay. There are, I think, not one but 3-4 very, very important things which actually captivates the eyes. And one more thing, Nikunja, I forgot to mention in the inner grooming thing is that be really nice to people around you. It's not right now, but otherwise also, because that is one aspect which actually makes you a good human being. Whenever possible, stop being judgmental, stop, berating people. If there is only one thing that you can do is just be a good human being and be very kind to people. And that kindness, if you're a kind person, if you're a good human being, that is one trait which shows from the inside to outside. If I had to choose one, then and I have to choose another one, that would be humility. Be humble, because if humility, being humble.
Lovely. Yes, and we see those traits you living daily, day in and out. Yes. So some of them are asking, are there any courses available for inner grooming?
Not that anything that I'm aware of.
Do you take any courses which people can?
I do take online courses, and so that is mostly 3. There's a lot of. Can you hear me? Okay, so I do take online inner grooming courses. Some of them are related to the Mrs. India contest. That course is called as Making of a Diva, wherein I cover everything related to a pageant. So it's a pageantry course. And there's another course which I take is for any and everybody. It's about actually positive psychology. It's about meditations, affirmations, visualizations, about dreaming, about setting goals. So that is another course. So I would be announcing it probably next month in June. And I will let you know. So I do take these courses on and off as the need arises, and most of them were related to the pageantry because a lot of the girls were participating in Mrs. India. They used to do my online courses.
Lovely. Great. So I hope that answers to the question that one person has asked us. Okay, there is another message or a question. The biggest obstacle to inner grooming becomes overthinking when it gives rise to self-doubt. Any quick tips to overcome that? And I have something to add there too, but after you, please share your thoughts on the same.
So, what happens is when we have all the free time in the world, that's when we get into this whole overthinking process. So what I meant before was trying to, live a disciplined life even in this lockdown. We have all the time in the world. That doesn't mean that, we lay around in the bed, because how much of Netflix can one person watch? How much of YouTube videos can one person see? And what happens is, seeing those YouTube videos, hame side mein kuch dikhta hai, so we go into that. Then we go into something else. And it goes on and on and on. And end of the day, we are depressed.
Right.
So we need to use that time constructively, and overthinking happens only when we have so much time. Itna time rakho hi mat apne aap.
Right.
Be disciplined, get into a routine. So ek ke baad ek, okay, this is 5:30 ho gaya, now I need to go for my workout. It's 7:30 now, I need to sit for my meditation. Keep yourself occupied. This overthinking will stop automatically.
Okay. Yes. Great.
What did you have to add?
I just had this thing because it keeps coming in my trainings also, that I overthink, or even in the counseling sessions that I take, that I overthink, and that's becoming a problem. And that time I really like to correct everyone that overthinking in itself is not wrong. Overthinking in itself is not something which is not helpful, because imagine our scientists wouldn't have overthought. They wouldn't have come up with the nice evolutions and so many different kind of innovations, right? But what matters is what you think about. So instead of focusing on whether am I overthinking, how about you become mindful and start focusing on what am I actually thinking, what am I overthinking about. That's something which is very important. And the question that is what I see, other one also, that is, how can one be much constructive? So there also I feel a lot of them have this notion, which recently I also happened to write an article. It's in our blog site, by the way. So that talks about whether you are productive or whether you are busy, right? There's a difference between being productive and being busy, right? And only or mere activity that you are doing is not productivity. There's a difference in just doing something and just actually getting something out of it. So be very mindful about what you're being busy with, right?
Correct. Agree.
And what Neha was saying, that scheduling your day or probably having something
being in a routine
kind of disciplines. Yeah, definitely. That's something which can help. Okay. So another question that I see again sent to me privately is how to use inner grooming to achieve our higher self. I can suddenly think of Abraham Maslow. Yes. So, but I don't know. I don't want to really bring him right now because I would like to hear that from you. So yeah, please share your opinions about this.
So if you can repeat the question again, so I'll just
how to use inner grooming to achieve your higher self.
Well, inner grooming, as I said, there are again two parts in inner grooming, right? One is the mind and one is the soul. So to achieve your higher self, you need to have a good amalgamation of the mind and the soul. Because if your soul is cleansed, if you are, it's like a clean slate, as I had mentioned, then there are a lot of things that you can put on that slate, and there are a lot of constructive things that you can put on that slate to achieve and be the best version of yourself or to achieve your higher self. So whatever we mentioned in this webinar, a mix of all of those things will help you get to that point.
Right. Okay.
Not just one or two things.
Right. And someone is saying again privately that how can the criticisms be handled? How can the criticisms
good question.
Handle?
Yeah. So if you're getting like say 100 criticisms and only one compliment, as I would like to mention, then what happens to us is that we automatically tend to veer towards the criticism. Or another example is you're getting one criticism and 100 compliments, we only tend to concentrate or focus on that one criticism that has come our way.
True.
Now, what we can do is, if criticism is there, try to be constructive about it. If somebody is talking something bad about ourselves, we can actually review it in our mind. Is this the truth? I'm not saying that we need to berate ourselves, but if that is the truth, if we feel that there is even some sense in that, we can actually, that's a good opportunity to work on yourself.
Right.
Because how else are we going to understand the flaws that we have? It's only when somebody points it out to us that we realize, right? Otherwise, we think that we are a great, complete person. So when somebody points it out to us, say thank you in your mind to that person, because he's actually made you aware of something that you need to really work upon. So that's how I handle all the criticisms that come my way.
Right. Perfect. And I can think of a very nice analogy where if anybody goes out to shop, let's say, you're going out to buy vegetables, and you have all these rotten tomatoes there as a person is selling you. And imagine he is selling you because he's like, please mere se ye kharid lo, because I need money. Or maybe even if he tells you that I'll give you in half of the price, you still do not buy those rotten tomatoes, do you?
True.
Right? No. The way you become so selective about choosing the vegetables, why can't you be so selective even choosing the criticisms, right?
Totally.
The people throw at you. So you can pick up what you think is going to be helping you rather than focusing on what thing you feel is not going to help you.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's that story about the donkey, Nikunja. It's really about the criticism or about how to handle circumstances. There was a donkey, falls into a pit, and his master cannot pull him out. So he starts burying him with the sand. He says, now that my donkey is going to die, I'll just cover him with mud. The donkey, whatever mud is falling on his back, used to shake it off and used to fall down. And eventually, after some half an hour, 1 hour, he climbed on that mud and walked away. So there are two lessons that we learned from this story. One is that we need to shake off our problems. And the second thing is make good use of the circumstances. So what he did was, he used the mud that was falling and he made it like a platform and he walked away.
Oh, wow.
So we should use criticism literally like that as the foundation. Select whatever good criticism is there. And the rest just ignore. That's the best thing that we can do.
True. Right. There is another question which has come from Heta. Hey, Heta, hi. How do you make a balance between being humble and expectations?
Between being humble and expectations.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I'm loving some of the questions that are coming to us. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Actually making me also think that, how do we actually like cater to both of these things?
True.
Well, actually being humble is one quality which actually should be ingrained in all of us.
Right.
Because trust me, when you're a humble person, a lot of people get inspired by you. They want to learn from you.
Right.
Not somebody who's blowing his own trumpet and going on and on about it. And talking about expectations, expectation is something which all of us have to deal with at all given point of time, right? Because everybody is expecting something or the other from all of us at all points of time. We are expecting so much from our own selves as well.
Yeah.
So, just be careful about what you're expecting, what you're letting others expect out of you. And I think being humble is one quality which should be there all the time.
Right. Yeah.
And if I'm confused about this question, Nikunja, can you also answer it, please?
Yeah, sure. So again, even I feel that these expectations, we need to understand and differentiate them between expectations and compulsions, right? Having expectation is something which is fine. We all can expect because we need to expect in the society also. I mean, not wanting to expect in itself is an expectation.
Yeah.
But I feel that when you expect from someone or when somebody expects from you, do you make it a compulsion that since this expectation has come to me, it has to be fulfilled? Or if I have expected from somebody has to fulfill my expectations. So
that's what you make out of it.
Importantly, drawing that line between am I just at the expectation level or I'm making that expectation as a compulsion is very important. Yeah, and that allows you then further to be humble also, because first you want to, take care of your own self before you actually overburden yourself and wanting to go out of your way to do things for others. Yes, I think.
Hello, yeah.
You can hear me now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope that addressed Ms. Heta's question. Okay, is weight loss also a mind game?
Yes, totally it is.
Okay.
Because you know what happens? Yeah,
you did achieve it. So yeah, please talk from your experience.
I have been on both the sides of the balance. I've been overweight, I've been under my weight, I've been normal. I have been through the whole graph. So what happens here is, why is it a mind game? Is because every time you see those little bag of chips, or you see the Coca-Cola that you want to drink, or you see that little bar of chocolate that you want to eat, and when you're on the spree to lose weight, that's when you really need to psych out your mind and say no to that. So it is a mind game. You actually have to focus and be great-willed to say no to that little piece of chocolate, because you know that is going to come in your way, looking at the bigger picture. So everything is a mind game at the end of the day. So.
True, definitely. Okay, Neha, and I'm just taking one last question that has come. And after that, we will sum it up. So how to practice mindfulness and the meditation rightfully, I mean in the right manner? Because I know why this question is coming. Many people get very confused with mindfulness and meditation, but I'm sure there is some kind of a right way also to practice it. So would you please share about how it is rightfully practiced?
Yeah, so what happens with meditations is, somewhere we all think that meditation has to be done in a certain manner. Now, to each his own. Every person would like to meditate differently. And meditation is not something that you have to close your eyes and sit, because the moment you start forcing something upon yourself, your mind wants to rebel and do the exact opposite of that.
Right.
So what I started doing was, I just sat in a relaxed position, lightly closed my eyes, and for the first 5 minutes, I let all the thoughts flow through my mind. Because there's a cluster of thoughts that want to come in, go out. There are so many things that is in our mind, and we cannot just be blank suddenly. It took me about a good 2 months to finally reach to that point wherein my mind actually started getting blank.
Right.
So it took me almost 60 to 70 days to get to that point, after doing this daily every day.
Okay.
So just let yourself be initially. If you're not somebody who likes to sit in one position, or who, is not comfortable with that whole idea, get comfortable with that idea. Let your thoughts flow in. And if you want, you can also do these assisted meditations, which are readily available on YouTube. So there is the chakra meditation. There is, again, a mindfulness meditation. There are a lot of meditations that you can choose from. So only once you're ready for that, get into it.
Okay.
And there's something else that you can do is just, what I used to do is put a black dot in front of me on a cupboard on a white paper. And for 5 minutes, I used to only try and look at that dot and not think of anything else.
Okay.
It's actually called
That
something, I don't know what it, it was very hard. And every time I used to try and go away from it, that I used to concentrate again on the black dot. So there are different techniques that one can use. So you see how you are as a person, and then you actually cater these things to yourself.
Yeah, because that requires a practice, I'm sure too.
Yeah, but the only mantra that I would say is don't force anything upon yourself. Just let it free flow. Eventually, in a few days, you will get to that point wherein you can sit in one place for half an hour without any thoughts flowing in your mind.
Okay. Okay, that's nice. And I think
I'm still trying to get there.
I'm sure. And this is a journey. It's a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey. True.
True. And the very first important thing is just accepting those thoughts. The more you want to push them aside, the more you are going to invite them. It's like if I ask everyone, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows this. If I ask everyone not to imagine the pink elephant, everyone is going to do it.
I just saw it right now.
So, so that's how. Just allow your thoughts to float and just allow them and accept them. Just know them that they are your thoughts. They are not completely you.
Correct.
Right?
So we have to accept the distractions also, and then accept them and walk along with all these thoughts and distractions in your mind, and eventually they all start dropping.
Yeah, sure.
Because if you don't let them come in your mind, the more they want to fight and get in your mind.
Right.
So that's the best way to.
Definitely. Okay, so that was a very lovely hearing from you, Neha. A lot of concepts, I'm sure, got clearer in everyone's head also. And I'm sure everyone would like to keep hearing from you about different topics. So we hope that in the future also you join us for such webinars. And that we can interact and converse with you about wonderful other topics too. Yeah. So once again, thank you so much everyone for being here with us for this webinar. I hope this has been a good learning experience for you as well. And we have our next webinar in the next week coming up with the topic connecting with children during the pandemic.
Wow.
So yes. So I hope that you all can, even learn a lot from that too. So please stay tuned with us. There are some links which are available of our social media sites. You will keep getting updates on those links also. And in the beginning, what Neha asked me, or rather in the middle, what she asked me.
I was just going to ask you that. Are you going to get back to that?
Yes, I will.
Tell us,
Definitely. So to briefly tell you about this, Emoticons, as I said, is a counseling center, training center. We majorly train different individuals into different psychotherapies like REBT, CBT, play therapy, and a lot of things which are under the psychology as a term. So we do workshops on emotional intelligence, emotional well-being, anxiety management, case taking. So all these are psychology related topics. And definitely there are other small courses and workshops also which focus on inner grooming, one of the questions which had come earlier. So here inner grooming, by that we specifically focus on the quality of your thoughts. Yeah. So yeah, we do all of those trainings, and all this information is available on our website. I don't want to go on and on about this. So if you want to reach out to us and ask any other doubts related to the courses or related to today's session, you can reach out to us and we'll be more than glad to address all your queries. Okay, so once again, thank you so much, Neha. I hope I answered your question briefly now.
Absolutely, Nikunja. Yes. It has been great working with Emoticons, and it's such a proud feeling that after we finished our masters together, you started this institute and you're helping so many people through so many problems. So, there's no prouder feeling for me than this, and a lot of love and good luck to Emoticons. Keep growing, keep flourishing the same way you are. And thank you so much for inviting me here.
Now.
No, I'm very, very serious, and thank you so much for making me a part of this. It was lovely answering these questions, and they made me think a lot today too. So thank you, Nikunja. It was great chatting with you.
Yes, thank you everybody.
Bye everyone. Yeah, thank you.